Hey guys, it's Kat and I am back today with my March favorites, fails and sort of recap video. So just going through some products that I really like this month, products that I didn't like so much, and sort of update on things that I've been trying and just my sort of thoughts if I'm not going to do a review on it. Hope everyone's doing well. We're in a weird time at the moment. So we've just done beauty news, tried to film it on like Zoom. I don't know how that's going to go. I'm going to edit that tomorrow. It's going to be a nightmare, but you know, we're all in isolation. It's getting hard. And I think also because of that, there's not too many makeup things that I'm going to be talking about because, you know, I have been wearing makeup, but mainly my Project Pan stuff. And I haven't been doing really dramatic looks like this because unless I'm filming, I'm not going anywhere. So yeah, that's the deal. But let's start with eyeshadows because there are a couple of palettes that I've been really liking this month. I want to start with the eyeshadow palette that I've already done a review on. So this is already up. It's a NARS, what is this called? Afterglow eyeshadow palette. So I picked this up early in March? I think it was. And I did a small review on it. I think this is a really pretty palette. It's got really nice sort of warm tones with sort of pops of I'm going to say wearable pink. This one is quite a bright pink, but this one tends to be more peachy. But I mainly bought this because I just wanted some soft browns with a little bit of warmth and nothing too crazy. And I did like it. It wasn't like overwhelmingly amazing when it comes to like pigmentation, but I do think the formula was really flattering. I think the colors were really pretty. I actually haven't used this too much since I did my review. I bought this just to like enjoy and be like, treat yourself. You want to have this palette, you want to use it. And I did like the looks I created and I will keep this out to use more. But I'm currently in the middle of another eyeshadow palette review, which is what I'm wearing in my eyes. And I like this palette even more. So yeah, it's sort of overtaken my enjoyment of this, even though I really do like this. I do want to specify though, and I did mention it in my review, but NARS eyeshadow quality is really nice for just like a flattering, enhancing your sort of features. It's not super pigmented. It's not super bold. There's a duochrome in here and some sparkly shades. They're not going to be overwhelmingly bold on the eyes. It's more of a like wash of color. And I was sort of after that because that's what I use on a daily basis. But what I've been enjoying probably even more is this palette from Too Faced. So it's the Born This Way Natural Nudes Complexion Inspired Eyeshadow Palette. So I'm currently reviewing this. It's what I've currently got on my eyes and I really love this. So it is pretty much a nude eyeshadow palette. It's got half mattes, half shimmers. I find the shimmers almost a little bit emollient, so they almost have like a wetness to them and they look really sparkly and sort of pretty on the eyes. The mattes are really soft. They are really like finely milled. They blend really nicely. There's not much fallout in any shade. I really like this. I love the sort of cool tone looks that I can create. I love the warm tone looks. I'm wearing these deeper shades today and I just think it's such a nice nude eyeshadow palette. Even though there are some pinks and stuff that I don't generally wear on a daily basis, all of these are really flattering on me and I've been really enjoying using it. So I've got a review coming up of this very soon, but it's the palette that I've been reaching for the most when I'm not using my Project Pan stuff because right now I like nude with texture and this is nude with texture. They're beautiful. So this is definitely, yeah, something I've been enjoying using lately. And it's probably my favorite palette of the month, followed by the NARS one. Now, I was lucky to be gifted that from a Beauty News subscriber because I don't believe it's in Australia yet. So thank you so much for that. You know who you are. I know who you are. You're amazing. But she also gifted one of the highlighter palettes. So this is the Turn Up the Light Complexion Enhancing Highlighting Palette, and the shade that I have is medium. And this is pretty much three shades of, no, it's like one shade of highlighter, but three different finishes. So what I'm currently wearing is the Glow. So you can see it gives a beautiful sort of champagne glow. This is more of like Hourglass ambient lighting powder type product. And then we have a glittery highlighter, which you'll see me apply in my review that will hopefully go up next. This looks kind of weird because it's got like no base color and it's just glitter. But when you do apply it, it almost gives like a wet look because it's very finely, like, I don't know, they don't look chunky on the face. They end up giving this like glow. I think it's actually really beautiful. So I really like these two. This I haven't really figured out how it works for me. With this powder, because I've got oily skin and I need something to set my foundation, I don't feel like this does that. And then when I also try to use it on top of my powder to get more of a luminosity, I don't think it really adds much to me personally. So I would have loved to have seen 3 different like true highlighter formulas in here. I understand why they put this in, but for me, I think it's probably my least used part of the palette, but it is very, very pretty. And I love the idea of having one tone with 3 different finishes, because often if you find a tone of highlighter that works for you, what you sort of want to change is how intense it is depending on the look you're going for that particular day. So I really love the concept of these. I don't think I like the middle pan as much as I would have liked to, but so I'm not as excited for this as I am for this, but I have been enjoying using both, especially this guy. All right, I can't do a favorites without talking about a lip product that I've been loving, because I love changing up lip products. And I'm clearly wearing a bit of a bold lip product for a reason today, and it's because I want to talk about these. So these just recently launched in Australia. They're by Bourjois, and they're the Velvet The Pencil. I don't really like that name, it's a bit clunky, but essentially they're like lip crayon type products. I guess you sharpen them, I guess. But they have, it's sort of like a soft matte. Well, it's definitely matte. It's obviously very matte, quite pigmented. And you get, like in Australia, there's 12 shades. The one I'm currently wearing is shade number 13, which is gorgeous. I love it so much. I've actually been wearing this for quite a few hours, and I'm like, should I touch it up a little bit? Trying to touch things up in the viewfinder is very hard to do, but yeah, they wear really, really well. I particularly like the bright ones because they're super bold, and because they are so matte, they give a really intense, vibrant look on the lips, and they're really, really gorgeous. So in Australia, they've launched 6 reds and berries and 6 nudes. I do have to say I prefer these to the nudes. The nudes are still really pretty. I haven't used them all, but I do find that they can sort of have that weird sort of settle line on the inner rim of your lips, but they are really pretty. There's a lot of pinky tones in there, so I only use a few of them, but I particularly love these reds. I think they're really, really good. And what I wanted to mention about these is I think they remind me very, very much of the NARS pencils. So if you're interested in these types of pencils, but you wanted something a bit cheaper, they're very, very comparable. So the NARS Velvet Matte Lit Pencils have been something that I've really enjoyed using for quite a few years now. My 2 favorites are probably Dragon Girl, which is very similar to the color I'm wearing today. So Dragon Girl, I will swatch it so it looks like this. And then if you get the shade that I'm wearing today, which is number 13, and you swatch it, it looks very, very similar. So that is, wait, which one's which? That one is number 13, that one's Dragon Girl, so they give a very similar effect on the lips. I also really love Red Square. This is an orange toned sort of red that I've been wearing a lot in the past few years. It's sort of like a dupe for, not a dupe, but it's a similar color to something like Lady Danger by MAC, but it's just a different sort of finish in a different format. Then I think shade number 14 is probably quite close to that, so there you go. Similar sort of effect. I haven't actually swatched these next to each other, but we'll see what they're like. This one is zipped, and it was from a holiday collection, not last year, I think the year before, so 2018. And whenever I wear it, people really like it, and they're like, oh, what is it? And I'm like, it's limited edition, it's gone, sorry. But let's see if this is similar. It is kind of similar. So there you go. This is shade number 18. That one's a little bit more vibrant purple, that one's a little bit darker, but you know, same kind of concept. They're both very, very matte and both very like long wearing. I do have a couple of nudes. I'll see if I can dupe them as well. This one here is Decibel, so that's like a really cool tone nude from NARS. Let's try shade number 2. So this is, whoa, that's pretty much bang on almost. So Decibel from NARS, shade number 2. Dolce Vita is a really popular one as well. This is more of a sheer up sort of pinky nude, really pretty. And I'm gonna try shade number 11 from, so that's just a lot more pigmented. Hang on, I've got a lighter one as well. What's this one? Shade number 7. So let's have a look at that. little bit more cool toned, but you can see that they are very, very comparable. I've pretty much only been wearing these for the past like 3 weeks, unless I'm wearing like a lip balm or a Project Pan product. I've pretty much been exclusively wearing these. So I did wear a nude. I'm not sure which one it was in my Project Pan video, which was up last. So I've been wearing them a lot, and I have been really enjoying them. It's also really nice to see a more, like slightly more affordable brand bring out something that rivals sort of a cult product from a higher end mid-range brand. So like Bourjois is not the cheapest drugstore brand in Australia, but if you can get it on sale at Priceline, which often they have like 40% off makeup, I would recommend swatching these and checking them out because they're very, very beautiful. And those have been pretty much the main lip products I've been using all month. So that's the only lip products I'm talking about, but it's a whole range. There's a lot of them. Anyway, let's move on to brows. I have been enjoying something that's been in my collection for a long time. I used up a brow setting gel in my Project Pan, and ever since then I've been getting back into this guy, and I really, really love it. So I wanted to give it a bit of love. This is the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. So it is a translucent brow setting gel. I do find these really handy. I don't wear them every day, but I do find them pretty handy because I have quite sparse but long brow hairs. So I don't like to trim them because then I pretty much get rid of all my brow hairs. So this has been my favorite brow gel for a long time, but I've been holding off using it because I've had other things in my Project Pan. But as I've sort of started using it again, I've been reminded of why I love it so much. So firstly, it really does set your brows in place really well, but I also love the shape of the wand. So essentially it looks like a comb. So it's got 2 sort of comb edges, and then it's got, if you turn it to the side, they're flat. And I really, really like that. And I like that for the reason that often I will fill in my brows, and if I go straight in with a spoolie, often it moves the product that I've just put into my brows, and I've just spent time trying to get into my brows, which really frustrates me. And then often I have to go back with a micro brow pencil and touch up areas, and then your brows get chunkier and gross. Whereas what I love about this is you can take the flat side, so the top or the bottom here, and just sort of like press your brows down, which I think is really, really handy. Sort of just smooths them over. If you do want to comb them, they have like a smaller comb side and a longer comb side, so you can comb product through. But if you don't want to actually move or disrupt your brows that you've just done, you do have the ability of just sort of like, it's almost like using a spatula and just like spreading the product over your brows and keeping them in place. And I just find it works so well. So I just wanted to give that some love because I've had it in my collection for a long time, and I've really enjoyed bringing it back out and using it a lot. Another brow product I wanted to talk about, and this is just a mini version because I picked up the mini. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's like the Dipbrow gel. So this is sort of like the Dipbrow pomade, but in a gel version. So it is a drier brow gel, and it does deposit a bit of color, but again, you can see that it's quite dry, and I really, really like that. So what I find is often tinted brow gels are too wet for me, and they just move my brows too much, and then it sort of ruins whatever work that I might have done on my brows. But this I really like because it deposits the color without it making your brows too wet and move them around too much. I have tried to use this on days where I don't want to put too much brow products in, and it can work. I just find that because I do need to shape my brows quite a lot, it works in like the body of the brow. It adds like a little bit of color and a little bit of filling to the brows, but I do find I need to get a micro brow pencil at the start. But other times, if I'm wearing like a light brow pencil that I've just thrown on, and then I want to add a bit of dimension, this is really good to add a bit of dimension to the, and a bit of texture to the brows. So I really do like that. So for a tinted brow gel, this is probably my favorite one I've used because it is so dry and sort of easy to control, and it doesn't make everything look so wet and messy. So yeah, I think they've done a good job with that. Let's get on to skin products, and then I'll talk about some products that are sort of fails for me. I wanted to mention this. This is something I've never tried before. It's the Kate Somerville Cold Cream moisturizing cleanser. So it's a really interesting product. I just pulled this out. I had it in my stash for a while, unopened, and I thought, look, I'll just give it a crack. And essentially it's a makeup remover, but it's a cream makeup remover. So you open it up and it looks like a thick cream. But it's really, really interesting because like it's a thick cream. You just rub it on your face. Like I would take, as my face is now, I would take off my lashes and I would get a bit of this and I would rub it onto my face. And it really does remove makeup. So it reminds me a lot of a cleansing oil. It works as well as a cleansing oil, but it's just in a cream format, which is quite nice. And especially since we're sort of going into the cooler months, if you want something a little bit more creamy and hydrating, I think this is a good one. But you can just see if you just slowly like work at your makeup, it just dissolves it all. Like it just dissolves all the makeup. It just feels like a moisturizer. It smells like a moisturizer. And then what you do is you just wash it off. And it all just like removes. So what I tend to do, similar to what I've just done then, I'll take more, just massage it into my face, into my eyes, jump in the shower and just rinse it off and do a second cleanse. And it's great. I have to wash this off now because I'm going to get everywhere. So if for whatever reason and you don't like using oils because they're messy or whatever, this works just as well as a cleansing oil, but it's a cream base. And I've been really enjoying it. So I can confirm by just washing that off, like look, firstly, some lip product stain, but it does emulsify, so it doesn't feel greasy or oily. It doesn't leave an oily residue on your face. It just sort of washes off into like a milk, which is really, really nice. And what I really like about this, I've tried cleansing balms before. I've tried like heaps of cleansing balms, and I prefer oils because the oils tend to wash clean. Balms tend to leave a bit of a residue, which can break me out. Whereas because this is a moisturizing cleanser and it's not a balm, it's more like a moisturizer format, because it does clean away and doesn't leave a residue. It's really, really gentle, but doesn't break me out, doesn't leave me feeling greasy. So I think this is a really cool product. So yeah, wanted to mention that. One thing I picked up this month as well when I was doing some baby shopping, I picked up these. These are the Bambu face reusable Bambu cotton pads. I go through cotton pads like one a day because I don't use them to remove my makeup at night because this is too much makeup. I'd be using like 40,000 cotton pads. So I just use one in the morning with some Bioderma just to like micellar water just to like cleanse my face in the morning. But you know, I'm always going to have the cotton pads that you can throw out because I use them for nail polish. I use them for other things like that. But on my face, I thought, look, I can be better at reducing waste. So essentially what these are is they're like reusable bamboo pads. So they come in a little bag like this and they look like this. So what essentially you get is 10 of these. I think 5 of them are really, really, really soft and they're designed for the eye area. And then 5 of them are a little bit more coarse and they're designed for the face. So yeah, they're reusable. You wash them. What I tend to do again is I use them with micellar water in the morning. So I'll take one, I'll put micellar water on it. I'll sort of cleanse my face. I'll give it a quick rinse and then I'll dry it. So the one that I used this morning is still here. I've just put on the lid. It's still a little bit damp. What I tend to do, the one negative to this is I find that the label, which I'd love to remove, with micellar water at least, it sort of like makes the label bleed, which is not a problem. It doesn't get onto the thing, but it just doesn't look as cool and these weren't super cheap. But this is still wet. So what I pretty much did was I used it, I rinsed it, then I sort of squeeze it dry because I find that if you scrunch it up, it will sort of leave it scrunched up. So I sort of squeeze it dry with my hands and then I squeeze it between a towel to sort of dry it out a bit. So it's left in this sort of like perfect sort of format. And then I just let it out, leave it to dry. If it's dried by the next day, I'll use it again. And then what I'll do is when a few of them are dirty, I chuck them in this bag that it comes in and you can just put them in the wash like once a week or something. So I'm trying to be better at like reducing waste, but I'll always have disposable cotton pads for nail polish and whatnot. I would never use these on nail polish, but I thought they're a little handy thing. They're a little bit more effort, which is a bit frustrating, but so knowing that these will last a long time, and I can also, when baby comes, use them to like wipe baby's face, especially the really soft ones, and knowing that I'm not putting, you know, heaps and heaps of cotton pads into landfill, I thought they're worth a crack. And these ones are pretty good. They're not cheap, but they work well. All right, last couple of things that are sort of fails. They're not like super fails, but they're just not things that really impressed me. And I'm really disappointed with one because I was so excited for it and I feel bad, but it is what it is. The Linda Hallberg Interstellar. This is the eyes, cheeks, and lips. It's a shimmery liquid product. I've only used these on my eyes, or this on my eyes. It comes in one shade, and it's actually this really, really beautiful, okay, I've got pink all over my hand, but it's this really, really beautiful soft gold, and I love this soft gold color. I think it's such a beautiful color. I have seen it, like when I saw the promotional stuff, I was actually sent this. We were sent this at Beauty News. This is a very, very similar color to a shade in one of the palettes. I'll have to put on the screen because I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I love that shade. That shade is my favorite shade in that palette, and I thought, look, a liquid version, I'm down for it. And it is actually really, really beautiful when you blend it out. So when you blend it out quite fast, so you have to actually use the smallest amount, like tiny bit, and then blend it out, it gives you this beautiful sort of twinkly effect that is really stunning. It's a very, very, very beautiful. And yeah, if you wanted to use it on your face, you can, but I think it's gorgeous on the eyes. My issue is I've tried to use it built up, and it just is not great. So you're supposed to be able to use it both ways, sort of built up and also diffused out, but built up is not great. It tends to look a little bit chunky on the eyes, tends to crack and sort of look like it, I don't know, with your eye creases, it sort of, yeah, cracks and looks chunky, and it's just not nice. I've tried to use this on like the inner corner and built up. Once again, it sort of goes crackly and funny. The only way I found I can use this is dispersed like this on the eye. And yeah, I just find that it's probably not versatile enough for the price point, but the color is beautiful. So it's something that I'll continue to, like, I'll keep in my collection, and I will use it. I'll mainly use this on days where I'm wearing sort of like fresh makeup and I just want something that's a little bit of like sparkle on the lid, but nothing too much. You literally have to take the smallest amount and then just like buff it in, because if you do build it up at all, it just, your makeup goes to shit, and it's really, really frustrating. So yeah, I do like the effect of this. I do like the color of this. I like the idea of this, but I don't think it's super versatile, and I've only found that I can use it in one way to make it flattering, which I don't think is enough. So yeah, it's not a favorite of the month, that's for sure. The last thing that isn't a favorite, but it's also not like a complete fail, so it's just sort of a recap. Luxe, what are they? Luxe glosses from Colourpop. So Colourpop last month, I think, or the month before, brought out the Luxe Velvets, which I didn't like. I mentioned them in my last fails, and they brought out the Luxe glosses this time around, and I don't hate them. I just think they're a little bit sort of sticky for what I like. I've got two shades here that are probably the ones that I like the most because they're sort of most nude. That one there is in the shade Come Through, and that one's sort of like a sheer nude with a bit of a shimmer. And then we have this one, which is Slow Motion, which is the one that I probably use the most. And this is, again, sort of like, it doesn't have shimmer, but it's a slightly deeper nude. So they're all right. They just feel a little bit thick on the lips. And if you don't apply them sheerly enough, you can get that sort of gathering and that sort of like tackiness. And it's really frustrating. They smell really nice. And I feel like with Colourpop, they nailed the ultra glossy lip. And whenever they've tried to bring out something that sort of rivals it, it's not as good in my opinion. So I don't hate these. I will continue to use them. But for some reason, they just don't, they just feel heavy. They just don't do it for me. So yeah, I think when it comes to Colourpop, if you want a lip gloss, I think the ultra glossy lips are the ones to go for. If you want something that's a little bit tinted, I do prefer the Just a Tint. I've been using this quite a bit this month as well because I've had a few like low makeup days, and this is a lip product that I've been just wearing. And this is the shade Gimme Small, and I really like this. It smells like passion fruit. It's really beautiful. It gives a sort of similar effect on the lips, but it just feels a lot more comfortable. It's a lot more lightweight. So yeah, they keep bringing out more formulas, which I understand that's what Colourpop do, but I feel like they're not improving, which confuses me. All right, so that's about it for today. Let me know what your favorite product or your fail for March was. Hopefully everyone's staying safe and playing Animal Crossing. That's what I'm doing a lot. And also organizing my kitchen. We got new shelves and stuff. We got a new island bench. You can see shelves up there. So I've been organizing my kitchen. Anyway, that's it. If you missed any of the information, I'll have it listed in the description box. If I've done any video reviews, which will only be, I think, the NARS eyeshadow palette review, but the next video will be the Too Faced one. I'll link everything in the description box, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.